These fluffy, pillowy Goan Sannas are perfect for sopping up a curry. Rice and coconut are ground together with yeast and coconut water and left to ferment for a few hours before transferring to katoris or small steel bowls to steam cook. Once these are cooked and cooled down, they are unmolded. Making these have been on my bucket list for a long time. I've experimented a lot with various proportions and I've tried many different techniques to arrive at this process. Traditionally, this is made with Goan red rice, but I will be using a short grain Idli rice. Now, I haven't experimented with any other types of rice, but you can try a short grain rice if you can't find Idli rice. Long grain rice will not work as well. Soak the rice overnight. The next morning, I'm going to rinse it a few times and I'm going to drain the water. I'm also going to soak half cup of poha or flat rice for 15 minutes. If you can't find poha, you can substitute cooked rice or you can just omit it. Now let's make the batter. I'm going to start with the rice and I'm going to grind it in 2 batches. I'm going to add the soaked poha, and once this is ground, I'm going to transfer it to a bowl. Now don't worry about this being too perfect because I will be grinding everything 2 times. I have 500 ml of coconut water here and I'm going to add in some as required. You can also add regular water, but coconut water gives a wonderful flavor. You will notice that I'm using store-bought coconut water. If you have fresh coconut water, by all means use it. I was able to find fresh coconut water in the store that was previously frozen, but it doesn't make too much of a difference to warrant the price of buying it. I'm now done with the rice and I'm going to move on to the coconut. I have 310 grams of grated coconut and I'm going to grind this in batches as well. Again, feel free to use fresh. I'm using fresh frozen that has been defrosted. Add 3 tablespoons of sugar and 1 tablespoon of yeast and some of that coconut water to grind this up. Now I've experimented making the sannas by making a coconut toddy ahead by adding yeast to coconut water, but I didn't find that this made too much of a difference. So this method of adding the yeast directly to the batter is much faster and gives you great results too. Once the coconut has been ground, I'm going to add it to the bowl and I'm going to grind the second half of the coconut. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. Continue adding the coconut water or more water to grind the coconut. The addition of coconut makes this a Goan sanna versus using Urad dhal, which is typically Mangalorean. I will be making that video as well later. Now that I have everything ground the first time, I'm going to grind everything one more time in batches and I'm going to transfer it to another bowl. I find that the heat from the food processor helps to activate the yeast, and grinding this a second time gives me a really nice smooth batter that I'm looking for. Once the batter is done, put a lid on it and keep it in a warm place for 4 to 6 hours. Since I live in Canada, the cooler temperatures mean that it'll take longer for the batter to ferment. I like to put it in my oven that is not turned on so it's undisturbed and draft free. While the batter ferments, let's talk about the equipment. I want to show this to you even though I don't really use it anymore. On your right is a traditional Sannas steamer, or a tandoor as it's called, and it belonged to my mom. It comes with aluminium katoris, which are small metal bowls. The reason I don't use this is because I can only make 5 or 6 at a time. Instead, I prefer to use my makeshift steamer. I have a large pot and a large trivet, and I invested in stainless steel bowls that are easier to clean. Aluminium or stainless steel, they both need to be brushed with oil. After about 4 hours, this is what the batter looks like. If I had left it longer, it probably would have risen a bit more. Once you're ready to cook this, make sure that the pot has built up steam already and work quickly to fill the bowls without disturbing the bubbles. Add this quickly to your steamer and add a cloth on the top to catch the excess moisture. Because I always use my big pot, I like to tie the lid with a large cloth so it prevents the drops of moisture from dropping back into the bowls of batter. Depending on the strength of your heat source and your container, this should take 15 to 30 minutes to steam cook. Once they're done, allow these to cool completely. On a side note, if you plan to seriously make these and want to make a large batch, invest in a larger amount of these katoris. This way you can steam 2 batches without having to wait in between to clean the bowls. Once cooled, you can simply just pull them away from the bowl with your fingers or just run a dull knife all around. Tap it on a board and it should come right out. Look how soft and spongy these are. While these are best eaten when they are freshly made, avoid storing them in the fridge if you can, as they do tend to dry out. I like to store them covered on the counter, wrapped in plastic film, and if you need to eat them later, you can just zap them in the microwave to revive them. If they're too dry, spray or sprinkle them with water and microwave. Once you make these and get the hang of it, you will be making these over and over again. If you love this video, please subscribe and share. Enjoy.